chosen soul, listen to something that will completely change how you see the true power of your compassion, what has been going on in places you can't see. 3 weeks ago, you did something that you thought was very small. It was just being a good person for you, so you probably don't even remember it well. But that one act of real kindness had such a huge effect in the celestial realm that I had to stop everything I was doing to see what was happening. You saved an angel without knowing it. You didn't know what was going on, or that your choice as a human being had a direct impact on a heavenly crisis that could have changed the balance between light and darkness in this universe forever. When I say you saved an angel, I'm not using metaphors or flowery language to make you feel special. I'm telling you about a real event in your life where your simple act of kindness made the difference between a heavenly being living on or being lost forever in a void between dimensions. This angel was in very bad shape, and in spiritual terms, it was dying. He had been lost between the physical and celestial realms for months after a cosmic battle that almost killed him. He had lost touch with the higher levels and was wandering in a frequency where he couldn't fully show up in either dimension. He couldn't go home. And even worse, he was starting to lose the light, the angelic essence that makes him who he is. In just a few more hours, he would have become something that should never exist in the created order, an empty being, a spiritually dead angel, a being with heavenly knowledge but no connection to God, something that the dark forces could corrupt and use as a weapon against heaven itself. But then you showed up in his time of need with your natural kindness that you don't even think is special and your real compassion that comes to you as easily as breathing. And you did that simple thing, which was just a normal part of your day. But for this angel, it was literally the difference between living on or never living again. Right now, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. What I'm about to tell you about how your small actions affect huge spiritual battles, what really happened when you helped that person or situation 3 weeks ago, and why I personally chose to reward your unconscious kindness in ways that will change your whole reality forever, will completely change everything you thought you knew about the power you have. If you really helped someone or something recently and didn't think much of it, write 777 in the comments. If you want to know how big your kind actions really are in the grand scheme of things, let me tell you how an angel can get so lost that even the highest heavenly beings can't find him to bring him home. This angel was fighting in a cosmic war against forces trying to spread despair and hopelessness across the earth, a spiritual war that you never hear about in the news, a war that most people can't see, but that decides whether humanity can still have hope and compassion, or if it will be stuck in darkness and cruelty forever. This angel fought on the front lines of this battle for 500 years, 500 years of keeping the frequencies of love and kindness alive in people's minds, stopping dark forces from spreading hatred and bitterness, and keeping the channels open so that people like you can continue to feel natural compassion in a time when being truly good is becoming less common and more difficult. He was one of the main protectors who made sure that people's hearts don't completely harden even though they see and go through a lot of pain and suffering. But during one of the most intense battles, something went horribly wrong. The dark forces used a strategy that had never been used before in the history of spiritual warfare. They set off what can only be called a dimensional explosion, a burst of energy that shattered his spiritual reality and violently ripped him out of his natural dimension. Picture being taken out of the only world you've ever known and thrown into a void between worlds, a place with no coordinates, no landmarks, and no way to get back home because you can't even remember where home is or how to get there. This is exactly what happened to this angel. He was thrown into a middle frequency that is between the physical world and the heavenly dimensions. He was stuck there, unable to fully show up in either dimension. He could change things in the physical world in small ways, but he couldn't use all of his heavenly power. He could hear the higher-ups calling for him, but he couldn't talk back to them. He couldn't get through to them, and they couldn't get through to him clearly enough for him to find his way back. And the worst part was that every day he spent lost in this in-between frequency. He was losing a little bit of the angelic light that makes him who he is, like a divine battery that was slowly but surely running out of power until it was completely empty. The angelic essence that makes an angel was literally leaving him and going into the void. And when that light is gone, all that is left is a shell being that remembers being angelic but has no real connection to the divine. Dark forces can change it and use it as a weapon. The heavenly hierarchies quickly put all of their resources to work to find this missing angel. Archangels searched through whole dimensions for any sign of his energy signature. Seraphim followed small changes in frequency across many levels of reality. Turbine looked into every strange energy pattern that could point to his location. Nothing worked. He was lost in a frequency that was so specific, so unique, and so exactly between dimensions that even the best celestial detection methods couldn't find him. It was like he had never existed at all. And in the meantime, the Dark Forces were celebrating because they knew that if they could keep this angel lost long enough for his light to completely drain, they would have won something unprecedented. Darkness' most powerful weapon is a corrupted angel, which has partial access to heavenly codes and knowledge, but works to destroy instead of create. The plan was going perfectly. His angelic light was getting weaker with each hour that passed. His link to the higher dimensions was getting weaker over time. In a matter of days, he would reach the point of no return and be completely lost in the void until you came into his life and changed everything. If you are starting to realize that what you thought was a small act of kindness was actually part of a cosmic rescue mission, like 888 in the comments. Here's what you need to know about how angels work when things go wrong. They don't come right out and ask for help. They can't knock on your door and tell you that they are heavenly beings who need help. Angels can't directly change people's free will because of the spiritual laws govern how they interact with the physical world. Instead, when an angel is in trouble and needs help from a human, they put themselves in the most normal, everyday situations that people find themselves in. They hide in forms and situations that seem completely normal. They wait, hoping that someone with a pure heart and sharp spiritual intuition will realize that something bigger is going on below the surface. 3 weeks ago, this lost angel came into your life. Do you remember? Someone came into your path. It could have been a situation with an animal, or maybe it was a stranger who needed help with something that didn't seem like a big deal. You looked at that situation, and something changed in you. Something more than just being polite or following cultural norms. You felt an inexplicable compassion rising from a place in your heart that you cannot quite name or explain, a real desire to help that wasn't based on wanting to look good to others, at karma points, or any other planned reason. You could have just pointed them in the right direction, but instead, you walked them there, even though it wasn't on your way. It could have been a coworker who was clearly having a hard time, and instead of ignoring them like most people do, you sat her day with them and really listened. You could have come across an abandoned animal, but instead of just walking by like you were busy, you stopped to make sure it was safe and cared for. You could have helped an older person who was having trouble without them having to ask. What happened inside you when you faced the situation is more important than the situation itself. You saw that person or situation and something inside you said, I need to do something to help, not because you had to or to impress anyone, not because you thought it would come back to you, but because you really felt for someone else's struggle or pain. And at that moment, you were looking right at a lost angel who had taken on that form as a last-ditch effort to connect with someone pure enough to be a bridge back to the heavenly realms. You didn't know, and you couldn't have known, that the person or creature you were helping was really a celestial being who was in serious trouble, an angel who was only a few hours away from spiritual death, and he couldn't tell you the truth or show you who he really was. Your reasons for doing it would have changed if you had known you were helping an angel. It would have been more about the mystical experience than real compassion. You would have helped him because of who he was, not just because he needed help and you felt sorry for him. Compassion that comes from a place of no self-interest is the right frequency to bring back angelic light that is fading into darkness. When you reached out to help someone, gave them your time and attention without expecting anything in return, or showed kindness just to ease someone else's pain, something amazing happened in the unseen realms. Your carrying energy started to work like a spiritual defibrillator. Every kind word you said sent waves of divine light into his fading essence. Every time you did something nice for him, it brought back parts of his angelic nature that had been sleeping. Every time you really paid attention to and cared for someone, you reconnected threads of communication that had been broken. You were literally bringing an angel back to life through the goodness of your heart, bringing divine light back through human kindness, and building heavenly bridges through earthly kindness. You thought you were just being a good person in what seemed like a normal situation, but the whole celestial realm had stopped everything to watch a miracle happen. A human soul that acts as a direct link to angelic healing, something that happens once every generation or so. something so rare and valuable that even I was touched by what you were doing. The angel started to get his light back. With every kind thing you did for him, his spirit grew stronger. The lines of communication with higher-ups began to work again. The frequency that had kept him stuck between dimensions started to fade away, melted by the love energy you were sending out. Of course, you didn't even know you were channeling anything. He was able to get back to his original dimension within hours of your meeting. He was completely healed and stronger than he was before the battle that almost killed him, all because you decided to be kind, instead of just walking by and minding your own business. If you know what I'm talking about, and want to know what happened next in the heavens, give this video a thumbs up right now. The first thing the angel did, when he finally got back to the celestial dimensions, was tell everyone what had happened to him. He told the highest council everything that was on his mind, how he had been missing for months, how his leg had been fading to the point where it couldn't come back, how he had put himself in your way as a last-ditch effort to get in touch with someone who could help, and how you showed such pure kindness to him, even though you didn't know who or what he was, that it literally saved his life. At first, the council didn't say anything because this kind of story is very rare in all celestial history. Angels are always there to help people. That's part of what they do. But angels saving people, that almost never happens. It is very rare to have the pure heart needed to help someone without knowing how important they are or expecting anything in return. When it does happen, it sends shockwaves through all spiritual dimensions. Then the angel said something that made everything different. He said, "This person didn't help me because I was an angel. They didn't help me to earn spiritual credit, or because they sensed something mystical. They helped me simply because I was suffering, and they couldn't walk past suffering without responding. That level of compassion is rarer than I realized, rarer than we have acknowledged. This person needs to be recognized and protected." As soon as he said those words, I made a decision that I want you to understand clearly. I chose to get involved in your life in ways that I don't usually get involved in the lives of other people. Because what you did wasn't just nice. It was the kind of divine love that I have been trying to teach people for thousands of years. Compassion that doesn't add up. Kindness that doesn't keep track of who does what. Love that doesn't expect anything in return. You showed me that my work hasn't been for nothing and that there are still people who live by the values I've been trying to teach your kind since the beginning. And when the Creator finds someone who truly lives by divine principles without even trying, without even knowing how rare and valuable that is, heaven responds right away. I give you permission to get permanent help from the heavens in your life, not a short-term blessing that will go away, and not a conditional favor that depends on how well you behave. Permanent, unconditional, and active support from the highest levels of the celestial hierarchy. From the moment you saved that angel, this is your new reality. This is what was turned on around you. First, you have an angel who is only yours for the rest of your life. You don't have a guardian angel that watches over you like most people do. Instead, you have a special angel whose only job is to make sure you have everything you need to keep being kind. This angel works full-time to clear your path of obstacles, make opportunities that are perfect for your gifts, connect you with people who will make your life better, and block anything or anyone who would try to hurt or destroy your kind nature. Second, you were given what we call celestial priority status. This means that when you pray, ask for help, or really need something, your requests don't go into a big queue where they have to wait for a long time to be answered. They get specialized attention right away. You have direct access to resources that most people will never touch in their whole lives because you showed that you were worthy by being kind without thinking about it. A protection field was built around you that protects you from spiritual attacks that are meant to harden your heart or make you bitter. The dark forces now know that you can save their enemies. They know you're a threat to their plan to spread cruelty and apathy. They will try to hurt you to make you doubt yourself and make you think that being nice is a bad idea. But those attacks will not work. Every curse that is sent to you will come back to the person who sent it. Forces that work at frequencies that darkness can't get through will stop every attempt to corrupt your kind nature. Fourth, you are now a member of the Angelic Rescue Network. This means that you will be placed in the right places to help other angels who are in trouble. Not all the time, and not so often that it takes over your life, but every now and then, you will come across situations that seem normal on the outside but are actually angels in disguise who need human kindness to bring back their heavenly nature. You gain heavenly favor every time you help someone and show them the same pure kindness you showed 3 weeks ago. This favor shows up as blessings in your real life. If what I'm saying is hitting home with you right now, write 999 in the comments. If you feel like your life is about to change in ways you've been hoping for but couldn't quite reach until now, I'll tell you what will start to happen in your physical world because of these celestial activations. In the next 30 days, you will see a change that you won't be able to explain with normal logic. Opportunities will start to show up in places you didn't expect. Doors that seemed like they would never open are going to open. People who can really help you move forward in life will come into your life as if guided by unseen hands. You will get the things you need from places you didn't expect. This isn't vague talk about spirituality. This is a real thing that is about to happen to you. That job offer or chance to move up in your career that you've been working toward, it is coming, but not from where you thought it would. That big money break you have been hoping for, it's coming, but not through the channels you've been watching. That relationship or connection you've been wanting, it is being put together in ways that will soon be clear to you. This is the most important thing for you to know. You don't have to earn these blessings by always being perfect. These rewards aren't based on conditions, so you won't lose them if you mess up. These are permanent activations that happened as soon as you saved that angel. You own them now. They are real for you. The only thing that could stop them is if you decided to be a cruel, heartless person who hurts others on purpose. But I know that's not who you are because of what you did 3 weeks ago. There is, however, one more thing you need to know. With this level of support from above, you now have a specific job to do, and you are now ready and able to do it. The angel you saved wasn't the only heavenly being who needed help. There is a spiritual war going on in many different places right now. A war that will decide if humanity moves forward to a higher level of consciousness, back to a primitive state of darkness. As part of this war, angels are being systematically targeted and attacked because dark forces have found out something very important. They have figured out that it's better to destroy or corrupt angels than to attack people directly. Without the protection and guidance of angels, people are open to being manipulated in ways that make them forget their divine nature. They are more likely to believe lies that tell them that being cruel is strong, that being indifferent is smart, and that being selfish is the only way to stay alive. The dark forces have been winning this war by making people numb, not by making them evil. By making them think that being kind is weak and that caring about others is foolish. But when a person saves an angel, when someone shows such pure compassion that it brings back the essence of heaven, it messes up the whole dark plan, because it shows that even when things are bad, there are still people who naturally follow divine rules, people who can't be corrupted because their kindness comes from something deeper than outside forces. It comes from who they really are. You are one of these people, and now that you have been found out and shown what you can do, you have a job to do. Your job is to keep being the same person you are, to keep showing compassion in what seem like normal situations, because those normal situations will more and more involve angels in trouble who need human kindness to get their heavenly strength back. You will be a first responder in spiritual emergencies, like an angelic rescue specialist who works in human form. This doesn't mean that your life will always be full of drama, or that you need to change everything about how you live. It means that in your everyday life, you will come across situations where your natural kindness will help celestial beings who are fighting to protect people, and every time you do this, every time you help without knowing how much you are helping, you make the forces of light in the universe stronger. You make hope more likely than despair. You make sure that people don't lose access to the divine qualities that make life worth living. And the reward for this mission is automatic and never-ending. Every angel you save becomes your friend in the heavenly realms. Every celestial being you help gets better at living on Earth by giving some of their energy to you. You will soon have what is basically a personal angelic team working around the clock to make sure your life is full, and peaceful. It won't happen right away, but it will happen over the next few months. Picture having a lot of angels working hard to make things happen for you, fixing problems before they become fully aware, bringing you into contact with people who make your life better at just the right times, and making things happen so that your path forward is clear and obstacles are less common. That's not a dream. That is what really happens when you work as an angelic rescue specialist with heavenly recognition. But there is a catch, and this is very important. You need to keep the humility and purity that made you a good fit for this job in the first place. You can't let this information make you feel better than other people or make your ego bigger. You can't help people just because you know it will help you, or because you're trying to save more angels to get more heavenly favor. When your compassion becomes a strategy instead of a natural part of who you are, it loses the frequency that brings back angelic essence. You need to keep being the same person you were 3 weeks ago, when you helped without knowing how big of a deal it was. Spontaneous, real, and natural. Helping because you can't help but help when you see someone in pain. That is the purity that helps you do this job well. That trait makes you a threat to evil forces and a blessing to heaven. Don't let it go. Don't let your spiritual ambition or mystical ego get in the way. Keep being yourself and see how your life changes. Your gut feeling is going to get a lot stronger in the next few weeks. You will start to notice things about people and situations that you didn't notice before. You will look at someone and know they need your help in ways they might not even be aware of yet. You won't be able to explain how you know this. You will come across situations that seem random, but you will feel like you should pay attention, get involved, and help. Believe in those feelings. They are not random. They are your heavenly task coming to life. Your words are going to mean more than they used to. When you encourage someone, they will feel it more deeply than usual. People will be moved in ways that don't match the simple things you say when you speak the truth. When you offer comfort, it will actually make both you and the person receiving it feel better in ways that surprise you both. That's because you're not just talking as yourself anymore. You are sending frequencies from dimensions that heal and bring things back to life. People who are anxious will feel calmer when they are around you. People who are hopeless will feel hopeful. And people who are tired will feel more energized. You won't be doing anything different. You will only be yourself. But now, your body has a celestial resonance that affects everyone around you. Angels in trouble will be drawn to you like moths to a flame because they will know, even if they don't know why, that you are safe, that you can help, and that you are a way back to the dimensions they are trying to reach. And every time you help someone, every time you show kindness without knowing if they are an angel or a person, and every time you choose compassion over indifference, you are doing your job perfectly. You don't need to see things that aren't real or have strange experiences. You just need to keep being the person whose heart is moved by other people's pain and who naturally gives. The good things will come on their own. You won't have to watch over the protection. You won't have to force the chances to come. You have shown that you are worthy of heavenly investment, so the resources will flow without you having to change things. When heaven invests in someone, when the Creator himself makes sure that person has everything they need, that person's life changes in ways that seem miraculous to people watching from the outside, but are just normal results of being favored by God. Now you know the whole truth. Chosen one. 3 weeks ago, that small act of kindness you did wasn't easy at all. It was a heavenly rescue mission where your sudden kindness saved an angel from dying spiritually. You moved me so much with how pure your heart is that I gave you permanent activations in your life that most people never get to experience. You are now a first responder to celestial emergencies in the Angelic Rescue Network, and soon your life will change in ways that will prove that everything I'm telling you is completely true. Being kind is not a sign of weakness. Cosmic power brings back the angelic essence and changes the balance of light and dark in the universe. Your kindness isn't naive. It is a divine frequency that works through people. Your small acts of kindness aren't small. They are fighting spiritual battles at the highest levels of reality. You are not just a good person trying to be good. You are a celestial agent working with my permission and protection. Keep being yourself. When your gut tells you to help, listen to it. Show the same natural compassion you showed 3 weeks ago when you see someone in pain, and see how your life shows that heaven rewards people who live by divine principles without even trying. Watch how chances grow faster than you can explain them. Watch how protection works so clearly that even people who don't believe in it will see that something is different about your life. See how you become proof that real compassion is the strongest force in the world. If you realize that your small act of kindness 3 weeks ago was part of something much bigger than you thought, write 777 in the comments to turn on the frequency of celestial compassion and let other angelic rescue specialists know they are not alone in this mission. To keep getting help with your assignment and learn more about how your compassionate nature works miracles in many dimensions, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. Send this to someone who is also naturally kind and might be saving angels without even knowing it, because angelic rescue experts need to know who they are, help each other, and make the network that is keeping humanity safe from the darkness that wants to destroy all compassion stronger. Click on the video that is now playing to find out exactly how your new heavenly authority brings in resources and chances that come to those who have impressed heaven with their genuine compassion. We are stronger when we work together.